So there was a problem very similar to this on the test, and it's an important concept to understand. And this type of a question appears every single time on every exam that I've seen. Okay, AP exam I've seen. So let's go over it quickly. We have this method called change it. It takes in an array of integers and also an integer value, and it runs through the array and changes all the array elements to the value that's passed in, right? So if we pass in an 8, it's going to change all the values of the array to 8. If we pass in a 13, it's going to change all the values of the array to all the elements in the array to 13. Okay, so we have that change it method. We have main. We create this array size 5. We start by printing out, iterating through the array and printing out all the elements in the array, right? By doing that, what's going to print out? Well, we didn't initialize the array elements to any values, so it initializes by default to 0. So the array is going to be full of zeros, right? 5 zeros. So it's going to print out 5 zeros here. Now we come here to run change it, and we're passing it the array, right? And we're giving it the value 10. So now we come down here to the for loop, and we're printing out the contents of the array. So the question is did running change it change the values in the array here in main? That's the question. And in order to answer that question, you need to know how data is stored in memory, right? So I'm going to use this paper here as my scratch paper. If I have a variable called x that stores a primitive data type, an int, and I store a 7 inside of it, right? And over here is my memory on the computer. The way it's stored in memory is it's like, okay, well, it's stored in that memory location right there. And there's a 7 stored in that memory location, right? It's a primitive data type. So then if I go and print out x, it's going to go over here. It's going to print out that value 7. Okay, nice and easy. Now, if I have x object, which is a variable that stores an object, right? What is stored in the variable that contains an object? Well, what is an object, right? An object is a set of variables, right? They're instance variables. It's a set of variables, right? If we had a student object, it would have a name, a student ID, it would have a grade level, GPA, right? An object is a set of variables. And this variable can only store one value, right? So if I'm over here, it can only store one value. So how can we store an object inside of a single variable? Well, we can't, because an object is a set of variables, right? We can't store it in a single variable. We can't put like the name here along with the grade, along with the GPA, all in this one slot in memory. We can't do that. So what's stored in a variable that contains an object is a hexadecimal memory location. So it's a 6-digit hexadecimal memory location. So it'll be something like this. It'll be E0 AE71F. Okay. And what is hexadecimal? Well, a hexadecimal is a number system where we use the digits 0 through 9 and also A through F, right? Hexadecimal. Hexa is 16. So if you count all these up, this is 16 different numbers that we can use in each digit of a hexadecimal memory, of a hexadecimal number. So this here is a number, right? Well, we got 0 digit, the A is the 10 digit, the E is the 13 digit, right? And all this other stuff. And what you need to understand is with a hexadecimal memory system, you can store very large numbers using less digits, right? Using less digits. So just like in binary, with 1 digit, you could store 2 numbers. In binary, you could either store a 1 or a 0, right? 2 numbers. But in decimal, using 1 digit, you can do 0 through 9, right? So you can store more numbers using 1 digit. In hexadecimal, you could do 0 to F, so that's 16 in 1 digit, 16 different numbers in 1 digit. So the more digits you have, the bigger numbers you can create using less digits, right? So you can make bigger numbers with 2 digits using decimal than you can using binary. And then you can make even bigger numbers using 2 digits of hexadecimal than you can decimal. So my point here is that this memory location in hexadecimal is a huge number, right? Or can be a huge number. Just like in memory, we have very large number of locations that data can be stored in the memory. So let's say this is the number 2,700,023. Okay, this is just this huge number. And so what is happening? That's the memory location in memory where the object, the set of variables, is stored. So if this was a student object, name would go here, the GPA would go here, the year or grade would go here, and like, I don't know, some other data set will go here, data value would go here, right? So this is contains the memory location of where the object is stored in memory. So the object is here. Okay. So why do we go over that? It's because when you go ahead and run change it, and you give it the variable array, what's stored in the variable array? Well, array is a set of variables. An array is an object, right? It's a built-in object in Java, just like array list is a built-in object in Java, just like string is a built-in object in Java. String is a set of chars, right? It's a set of variables. So what's stored in this array variable? It's the memory location of where this array is in memory, just like this, right? The 6-digit hexadecimal memory location. So when we give change it array, what are we giving? We're giving the memory location of where this array is stored in memory. We're giving this value right here. And then when it comes over to here to change it, to run change it, what's inside this arg variable is the memory location of where array is in memory. Right? So then when we come here to the for loop, it's saying, okay, that memory location where the array is, okay, well, the I value, we're going to set it to a new value. The zero value, the zero value, we're going to set it to what, 10, right? We're passing 10 to the value. And then, the 1 value, we're setting it to 10. The 2 value, we're setting it to 10. The 3 value, we're changing it from 0 to 10, right? So we're changing array from being first defaulted all to zeros to now changing it to 10. And then when change it is done and it comes on back here and it prints out the contents of array, well, this array is the same memory location as what arg was pointing to, right? So all the changes that were done to change it will affect array here in main because they both point to the same location in memory. Let me go ahead and maybe I could write this out. I'll say array is my variable, right? It contains a memory location. Let's say here in memory where the array is stored. And there's 5 spots. And remember, we're here, right? And every location in array is defaulted to 0. So this is going to be the 0 element is going to be 0, the 1 element is going to be 0, the 2 element is going to be 0, the 3 element is going to be 0, the 4 element is going to be 0. And let's say the memory location is going to be, to keep it simple, let's do 5 zeros and the letter A, right? So that's the hexadecimal memory locations right there. Okay, so then when we go and print out the array, it's going to say, okay, well, that hexadecimal memory location, I'm going to print out 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Then I go to change it, and I pass it array. Well, what's it passing? It's passing this number right here, this hexadecimal number. So this array up here is getting the hexadecimal memory location of where array is in memory, right? So then when I go to this for loop, and it's saying arg, well, what's in arg? It's the same memory location, right? So maybe I could say arg right here. I could say x00000A, right? It's the same memory location. So then when I do arg sub 0, where is it pointing to? It's pointing right to there, the same memory location. And I'm setting arg sub 0 to value, which is 10, right? So now I'm changing this from 0 to 10 to 10 to 10 to 10 to 10, right? So then it's going to finish this change it method, which is going to come back here to where it was called and continue sequential execution. So we're going to go through this for loop, and now I'm printing out the array again, the array from main, right? But these are the same memory locations. So then when it comes here to print out the 0 element, it's going to print out 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. So anyhow, we need to understand that, right? When we pass an object to a method, any changes to the object's instance variables over here in the method affect the instance variables of the object everywhere, right? In main or any other method that you send that object. Why? Because of this concept where a variable that contains an object stores a memory location, and if you pass it to a method, you're passing the memory location, and then any changes to that object's memory location, instance variables, are going to be changed everywhere in your program, right? Okay. So understanding all of that, you should look at this problem and say, hey, I'm a smart computer science, AP computer science student, and so I know how all this works. So obviously down here, it's going to print out 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, right? It's going to print out 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. However, this is like a difficult, like a conceptually difficult problem, right? But on top of that, it's also tricky. And why is it tricky? Because when we go ahead and run change it array, the memory location is going to be here in arg, right? So we're going to have this 000A here in arg. However, the first line of change it is saying arg is equal to a new object, a new array, right? So this was the case, right? That it's 000A, but then this line right here, it changes it to a new array in memory. So I'm no longer 000A. I'm now 0FE17A B, right? And what is that? That's right here in memory, and that's a new array of size 5, and all of the values in the new array of size 5 default to 0, right? And then the array changes each element in the new object, the new array that we created, to 10. So this guy is 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, right? And I'm sorry, these guys should all be zeros again, right? These guys are all zeros to start out. Okay, those are all zeros. So anyways, the for loop is changing the new array location, the new memory location, to all 10s, right? But that leaves the original array untouched. Okay. So then when we come back to change it, what's it going to print out? Well, the array has been untouched. It's all zeros still. So it's going to print out all zeros. And why? Because of this one line of code there, which is setting array equal to a new memory location, a different memory location than the one that was actually sent in main.